Hey guys, it's Izzy, and today we're gonna talk about all of the books that I read in October. Okay, so to give you some basic stats, this month I read 5 books, and I read 3 whole books, 2 were DNFs, which was not the best reading month, but I feel like I'm getting back on track. Okay, so the first book that I read was A Buddy Reading My Best Friend, and it was Consider Me by Becca Mack. As you can see, the book is huge. It's a hockey romance, and it talks about this girl who starts falling in love with a hockey player because her best friend is dating a hockey player on his team, and he is totally transfixed by her, and he's like, I'm going to get you to date me. And she doesn't want that. She doesn't really trust him because he's a player. He's known to be like a ladies' man. And she's not really into it. She doesn't want to get heartbroken. The thing is, the book is 540 pages. And I thought that for someone who had so many reservations in the beginning of the book, it would take them so long to be together. Because, I mean, if you're scared of going into a relationship with a player, he's gonna have to prove himself. So I thought, oh my god, the build-up is going to be fantastic. This is going to be a slow burn. And then they got together on the first 100 pages, and everything felt flat to me. This is one of those books where, like, the problems come when they are already in their relationship, so it's kind of like them overcoming problems that appear in their relationship and like growing together. So it was not, for me, it was not realistic that someone with as many insecurities and reservations about a man could date him on the first 100 pages. That was just it. Other than that, the writing was really good. It was really funny. It had so many funny characters. I laughed out loud like 1,000 times. But it was just not for me. I DNF'd this at like 60%, so I was like, 350 pages in, something like that. And it was fine. It was not the best thing I ever read, so I was not about to waste my time on this. Okay, so after that fiasco, I decided to pick up the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Like, just look at the cover. Isn't it like the most fall thing you've ever seen? I'm in love with these covers. They're so freaking good. And this one follows a girl who basically inherits a cafe from her aunt, who decides that she's going to travel the world. And so she meets the main guy because one night she's hearing someone going through like the back alley of her coffee shop, because she lives on the floor above the coffee shop. And she starts getting really scared. She's like, oh my god, someone's breaking in, someone's gonna murder me. And so she decides, I'm gonna get to them before they get to me. And it's kind of like one of those moments that really makes me laugh, of like, you're the one that should be afraid of me, not me being afraid of you. And so it's kind of like she almost gives him a heart attack when he's only trying to deliver her like products for her cafe, because he usually does that with her aunt, but her aunt basically left her little to none instructions. And then it's basically her like adapting to her life there, falling in love with that man. It's a lot of Gilmore Girls vibes. It's really spicy. It doesn't look like it, but it's really spicy. At a point in the book, she gets a cat, like this little cat, which is really cute. And it's just like adapting to the small town vibe. And I underlined this a lot. Oh goodness gracious me. If you picture Lorelai and Luke from Gilmore Girls, it's like fanfiction. You're totally set. But I love it. I give this like 4 stars, I think. It was not a 5 because the main conflict of the book, the whole thing falls a little flat for me. So I gave this 4 stars, otherwise it would have been a 5. But super cute, cozy vibes. I definitely recommend this one. One thing that I forgot to mention though, the playlist is fire. The playlist on this book is absolutely fire. I love it so much. All of these songs are like incredible. She's a Swiftie. She has so many Taylor Swift songs. I love this. And then you have like the Spotify code that you can just follow through the Spotify to get the playlist, to like listen to it as you read, which I love doing that. I love when authors do that and they give you the Spotify playlist and you're just like, yes. Your laugh is my favorite sound is one of my favorite quotes. I was like, oh god, that is so freaking cute. Okay, so then the next book that I read was Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I really liked this book. I think I gave this book 4 stars because the ending fell a little flat for me, And it talks a lot about of how a single choice that you make can change the course of your life, which is something that I think about a lot every time that I'm making like a really important decision. But this one was actually not even something that was really huge. It was like a small decision that she had to make, and it totally changed the course of her life, because the timeline splits once she makes that decision, and you can see what her life is like if she does one thing, and what her life is like if she does the other, which for me, it's incredible. I love those kinds of books. I think they're really interesting. I was really hooked. I couldn't stop reading it. But it's not the most mind-blowing thing you're gonna read. But it is really good. That's how I can describe it. Okay, so I was just reading the quotes that I highlighted to show you some. And I just remembered why I love this book so freaking much. Doesn't it scare you to think that you might have gone in the wrong direction and missed the life that you were destined for? I just sometimes hope that I could have something more than just find someone who'd made me feel like I'd hung the moon. Fate or not, our lives are still the results of our choices. I'm starting to think that when we don't own them, we don't own ourselves. The next book that I read was the second DNF, and it was Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. And I read this because it was recommended by a YouTuber that I like. It was recommended by Steph Borer. Honestly, it disappointed me. It's not my cup of tea. So basically, this is about a girl whose family died in a fire, and so she was adopted by another family, and now she's moving back to the small town that she used to live in, and she's renovating the house that went up in flames with her family inside. And so she meets like the guy who is doing the fire assessment, and like if they can still save the house and what they can save apart from what they have to build from scratch, is the guy who is like her brother's best friend. Brothers from like the adoptive family, so brother's best friend, and he has been obsessed with her, but he just wants like to stay away from her. He is ex-FBI, and like a while ago he put someone behind bars, and now that person is coming back for revenge, and they are starting to mess up with them. And that's where I left. This started at 30%, so the beginning was super slow for me. And I wasn't vibing with the writing on this one, so I DNF'd it at 30%, and it is what it is. The last book. I can't talk about this book without smiling. The last book that I read this month was Play Along by Liz Tomford, and it was so freaking good. Every single Liz Tomford book makes me blush, makes me love the man that she's writing about. Like, men written by Liz Tomford are the blueprint for me. And this one is a baseball romance, follows Isaiah Rhodes, who is the brother of Kai Rhodes, which was the last book that came out last year that I also loved. And this one, she is a medical doctor for the team that he plays at, and that is really fun. That is really fun. He's been obsessed with her for years, ever since he met her, but she used to wear an engagement ring, so it was just like shameless flirting. But then one day he sees her and she's not wearing her engagement ring anymore. He knows the wedding, like the marriage, everything fell through, and he's like, this is my chance, I'm gonna take it. And so he starts actively pursuing her, and they strike up a deal that he's gonna help her like romantically, which led to this book being very, very spicy, by the way. And one night they are drunk and in Vegas, and they end up getting drunk and getting married. And so they cannot get a divorce or an annulment because there is a no fraternization like rule on that team. And that means that if they get separated or if they get a divorce right after they get married, that means that it was an accident. So if it was an accident and they were not really supposed to get married, then that breaks that rule, and that is grounds for termination of contract. They decide that since Kennedy has like the opportunity of a lifetime to go work like cross country for another team, while she doesn't get that offer, they are going to stay married. It's fake marriage. It's so spicy. It's so freaking good. I loved it. Isaiah Rhodes, my man. Hi guys!
Hello!
Today we're back with Mia, and we are doing something a little bit different. We have our matchy Mickey pajamas.
We do.
Which is really cute. And we decided that Mia is gonna choose my TBR for November. Even though today is like the 10th, 11th of November.
10th.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay.
So Mia is choosing my TBR, and I need to read this for the whole month, and I'm scared.
It's gonna be fun.
It is going to be fun. I am very scared. I gave her a list of about 20 books, and she chose. How many did you choose?
I chose 5 and a bonus book. Only like
There's a bonus
Yeah.
book.
in case.
And
for
still there's
example,
the book club book.
Yep.
You know how many books there are?
I know. I know.
I am scared. Mia is not. I am terrified.
Nah,
But it's okay.
You got it.
We're
You
gonna
got it.
do this challenge, especially because like I finished Play Along on November 1st. I'm reading Wild Love. No, Wild Eyes.
Well, guys.
I've been reading Wild Eyes ever since. Haven't been reading much though. That's why it's taken me so long. But
That's
probably
okay.
today. I need to finish that shit today because I'm already done with it.
You're
I'm like, just get together.
get to the point.
Yeah, they are already getting together.
Frustrating me.
Yeah, they're already
Okay.
getting together. But I want to see what you chose.
Okay, so first book, Dance of Thieves.
Ooh, I like
From
that.
Mary Pearson. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I want to read that book so badly.
Me too.
And when I saw it on the list that you gave me, I was like, "You're coming home with me, not with me, but with her." Yeah, you're gonna read this, girl.
I
You're
want
gonna
to. I
read this.
definitely want to read that.
Yeah, it's fantasy, so it's about like a kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, the king's dead, and there's a new
Okay.
queen.
Okay.
Like I think it's a queen from another kingdom that wants to take over.
Okay.
And so she sends like a former thief to go and spy on the kingdom who doesn't have a king right now.
Yeah. The.
Yeah.
Mm.
The king had an heir, obviously.
Mhm.
And so the thief, it's obviously a spy. She needs to figure things out and see where
And then
the
she
kingdom's
meets the
dead.
heir.
And then she meets the heir and she's like,
That's totally up my alley.
okay. So
That's totally up my alley. I'm happy with that choice. I am content.
yeah, so the second book that I chose. It's The Striker from Mana Wong.
Ah, good. Good.
It's a new. It's a different type of romance for her, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a sports romance.
Yeah. Asher Donovan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. He appeared like a couple books behind, like ago on her series.
Uh-huh.
I'm really excited. He's a hottie.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's her
He's a
new
football
book.
player.
It is a football
Yeah.
player.
It's exactly
It is a
who I'm
football.
thinking about. That's totally fine. I'm not even mad.
Yeah, and it's a brother's friend, like best friends, you know.
Little sister.
Yeah, because like it's. No, it's not brothers, it's a rivals. I'm sorry.
That's
It's
even
rivals.
better.
It's even better. It's like enemies to lovers
That's
kind of
even
thing.
better.
It's his rival's little sister.
You know, there was this YouTuber. I was really excited to read The Striker, and then one of my favorite YouTubers DNF'd it. And she
Oh,
loves
really?
Zena Huang. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
God,
God,
Larissa,
yeah.
what are you doing to me? But I'm really excited. I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
I will. I swear. I've read all of her books until now, so I need to.
True.
read
True.
the other one.
I think it's gonna be good. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little
It'll be
bit
fine.
different from what she has done so
Yeah.
far. But I think it's gonna be good.
Me too.
I'm excited to see where she takes this one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So next one, you actually have it in physical book, and that's Powerless from Elsie Silver.
Yay.
Yay! We bought this book together to buddy read. We never buddy read it.
Because the thing is, Mia hasn't read. This is the third book in a series, okay? Mia hasn't read the two first ones that came
I
before
haven't.
that. So I was like, we're not gonna read that until you read the other two, and
Of
she
course.
hasn't.
Of course.
And so she chose this for me to read.
Yeah. So these two,
Mm-hmm.
they're childhood best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's also a sports romance. He's a hockey player.
Okay.
And so like she basically on her wedding day,
Hmm.
I think either she's left at the altar or like
Or she
something
leaves
happens.
someone at the
yeah,
altar?
yeah.
Okay.
Like something happens. She doesn't get married,
Okay.
and he's the one who takes her away from there. Like he's the one who saves her.
Period.
Like, okay, we're going.
Yeah.
And then things happen.
Isn't his name Jasper Gervais?
Yeah.
He was mentioned on my book, the book that I'm currently reading.
Okay.
He had like he went to see the headlines on his phone, and there was like a news about Jasper being transferred somewhere
Okay.
or scoring I don't know how many goals. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. She's like he's also her. She has been in love with him all of those years as well. So wonderful.
Goodness gracious, people like
Wonderful.
to suffer for love.
Yeah, I don't know
I
why.
don't get
And
it.
she was getting married to someone
And
else.
she was getting married to someone else. I don't know. Maybe she thought she could never have him.
Yeah, or
It's kind of
maybe
like
I
that.
think something must have happened somewhere in the middle. But
Yes,
we'll see where this takes us.
definitely.
This is very, very interesting. Very interesting.
That's going to be very, very spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one that I chose,
Okay.
I never heard of it before, and the
Okay.
book, and neither the author. So I was
Okay.
like, And then I read the synopsis, and I was like, So yeah. The next one is Crossroads.
Daphne Perry.
Daphne Perry.
You've never heard of Daphne Perry.
I haven't.
She wrote a series called The Heathens.
Mm-hmm.
Starts with Indigo Ridge. And it's kind of like small town romance mixed with thriller.
Okay, so this might be something else, like
I don't know what
something
it's
more.
about. I
you
liked
know?
the cover, and Larissa
Really pretty.
recommended it.
It's
So
really
I was like,
pretty.
yes, I want to
Yeah.
read this.
So, they also met when they were children.
Oh
you
god,
know?
it's
like,
the
so they were
trope- it's
childhood
the trope that I
friends.
hate the most.
It's
Child
true.
friend to like
To
lovers.
Yeah. But
Because
yeah,
it's kind of like you had all this time to have your chance and you really didn't take it. Like,
no, but
what
they
makes
did.
it different right now?
No, but they did.
They did.
They did. Like, she says in the synopsis that they met when they were 8, when she was 8,
Okay.
and he stole her first kiss.
Ooh.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And he stole her heart, and then at 23 they just something happened and they went separate ways.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
And she vowed, I think she vowed to never return to the ranch, and she does return later on.
Of course she does.
Don't know why, but she goes back. And they need to work together, so that's gonna be interesting.
I don't know how most of my TBR for this month is childhood friends to lovers, and it's my least favorite trope.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a very interesting
it's
month.
gonna be very interesting because you don't like it, no.
At all.
I think it's one of those tropes that you either do it right or it's just bad. The last book, I think it's the last one. Yeah, the last book that I chose.
Because this is not enough.
This is not enough.
Yeah.
It's from a series that
God, I'm
you already have. And you already have the book, so it's perfect.
Oh, God.
And it's Saving Six from Chloe Walsh.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Look at her face.
Oh,
Yeah, this might be a little bit too much. This is a lot.
no.
How
What
many
did you do
pages
to
are in
me?
this thing?
I don't know, 600?
Let me see. Wait, why is there no page number? Why does it... Wait! Am I in the wrong?
No, you're in the right. God, the font is small.
Ah,
623.
Yeah.
With a small font this size. By the way. And you know what's worse? Is that I read Binding and Keeping 13 in 2 days, 2 consecutive days. They were both like this size, if not bigger. The problem is the other book that's like Saving 6 and then it's Redeeming 6. Redeeming 6 is 800 pages. Don't laugh, you created this. So now what's gonna happen is this is gonna go last. Even after the book club book, this is gonna go last. Because if when I finish this, I know I'll probably want to be reading Redeeming 6 because this will end in a cliffhanger.
For sure.
She says, like in the beginning, this book ends in a cliffhanger, and I'm like,
wonderful.
oh great, wonderful, fine. And it has a page for trigger warnings.
Yeah, it's really pretty though, the cover.
It is. The story is really sad though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you. And then I'm gonna kill myself. God. But they are really good, by the way. The writing is really good, and I cried. So I'll definitely be reading this very soon. But yeah, those were the books, guys.
Those were the books.
And
do
now
you want to hear about your bonus one or not?
you got a bonus book.
I got a bonus.
I'm not gonna get to the bonus book, but
Yeah.
let's hear it.
This one is definitely fantasy.
Okay.
There's witches and purging and stuff.
There's a purging.
Yeah. And it's Heartless Hunter from
Ooh.
Kristen
You're
Kristen
gonna butcher her name.
Ciccarelli.
Okay.
Ciccarelli, whatever. It's not Ciccarelli, obviously, because it's an
Yeah.
Italian name. Should be something like Ciccarelli, something like that.
Mhm.
I have no freaking clue. I'm sorry, I just butchered your name. But yeah, we
We're
tried.
sorry.
Yeah.
You know that's called, in some countries that's called Heartless Hunter, in some countries that's called Crimson Moth.
Yeah, because this book is from the Crimson Moth series. This is the first one.
Yeah, but like the book changes title according to the country that
Why?
you're in. I don't know.
Okay.
So like in the US I think it's called Heartless Hunter, but in the UK it's the Crimson Moth. It's something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I don't know why they chose to do that though. I hate when that happens.
Yeah. It's like the
'Cause,
book
like,
changed
especially
its
because
name.
it's all in English. So
Yeah.
like, why would you change
Why
the
do
name?
you do that?
I don't know.
Or maybe the first title or first edition, whatever, was
The Crimson Moth.
the Crimson Moth, and then she changed the name. And the next one is Heartless Hunter. I have no clue. I don't know.
We don't know.
This is
Coming
just
to
me
the conclusion that
speculating.
we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
This is a TBR.
Yeah.
This one, like the last one, the bonus book, is just, in case you DNF one,
Yeah.
or you're not feeling any of the others. So
I'm a mood reader. She knows me too well. She gives me more books so I can have more
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
So
That's
is
it, guys.
Bye.
So today is December 3rd, which was a huge time jump because I didn't film anything in November. But I thought it would be fun to add the books that I read in November with the books that I read in October, and that way just get like a huge wrap up. But in November, I actually exceeded myself for what I usually read this year. I am currently on 46 books of my goal of 50. I'm almost done. I am so freaking excited to be done with this reading challenge this year. I think it's what's taken me like the longest. Okay, so last time we spoke, I don't even know what I was reading, which is incredible. I think I finished Play Along by Liz Tomford, and I still talked about it. And then the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7. Oh my god, I read 7 books in November. Isn't that crazy? But I had 2 DNFs. One was just finishing the book, and then I had like 2 DNFs during the month of November. I'm looking at my Goodreads and I'm like, oh goodness gracious. So let's begin. The first book that I read was Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I don't know if I talked about it already. This is the second book in her Rose Hill series, Single Dads and Cowboys. It's just great. And this starts with him meeting her. She's a country singer. She's a really famous country singer. And they meet and he saves her from a bear because she is like vlogging for her Instagram page that she's in Rose Hill and she sees a bear and she had never seen a bear up close, but it was a really dangerous species and she had no idea that he would kind of like, he could attack her. And so he saves her from the bear and that's how they meet, basically. And he's a huge fan of hers, by the way, and his kids are a huge fan of her as well. So she starts like staying with them until the house that was supposed to be ready for her in Rose Hill is ready. So yeah, until then she like starts living with the family and things go great and they fall in love because obviously that's the whole point of the book. But it was amazing. I loved it. Everyone has been giving this 5 stars. To me, it felt more like a 4. It was really good, don't get me wrong. My 4 stars are like, oh my god, this book was amazing, but it was not bury me with this book amazing. So that's why it was not a 5 star. Anyways, then I reread something that I read basically every single year. I reread Pride and Prejudice. I had never read like this copy that I got this summer. And I got to reread it, and this time I annotated it. I annotated my special edition, and it's so freaking cute, and I love it so much. I even annotated it like with rulers so that the lines are like perfect, and I am so freaking excited that I read this. It brought me so much comfort in the beginning of November, and I honestly loved it so freaking much. Like, this is examples of annotations that I have, and I loved it so freaking much. That's basically it. Then I read, the third book that I read was Crossroads by Devney Perry, and that book was interesting, to say the least. I rated that book 3 stars because it was okay. It wasn't like anything special, but it was okay. It was not amazing. Like, you always know that something happened, and for me, what happened wasn't significant enough. I kind of guessed what happened before the big reveal, so the impact was significantly less. And yeah, that's basically it. It was 3 stars, it was okay. If you want to read it, go ahead. A lot of people love this. This book has a 4.16 rating on Goodreads, but it wasn't anything that stood out to me. Though the book is kind of bingeable, it just didn't stand out to me. Okay, then I read, the 4th book I read was, I finished Iron Flame. This is what I was talking about when I said that I finished the book. I had like 150 pages left, and I left it like that for months, so I didn't finish Iron Flame, and now I did, and I rated this book 3 stars. Which is kind of a crime from what I'm seeing, because this book has a 4.35 rating. The book is really good, okay? I think if I had read Fourth Wing and immediately read Iron Flame, and I hadn't waited like almost a year for it to come out, I would have loved it more because I would be more invested in the story. Right now, I read like until I had 150 pages left. I was enjoying it, but at times I found myself kind of like drifting off or skimming some parts, and I wasn't really like 100% giving it my full undivided attention. So I stopped for months because then I could not bring myself to pick this back up. And when I did, like, the ending of a fantasy book is always amazing. Like, we know that, we are aware. It's always epic and super, super good, especially if it's in a series because it's setting up the next book. You gotta have an ending that you're gonna be like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? I like the ending, but the fact that I stopped, the fact that some things in this book were not as fast-paced as I had enjoyed. It didn't have the 5-star feeling that I gave to the first one. And to me, it was not even close. To me, this book was okay. It was not great, it was not fantastic, it was not mind-blowing, it was okay. And so for that, I gave it 3 stars. And yeah, I know a lot of people who are disappointed by this. I know a lot of people who are like, oh my god, it's even better than the first one. I was in the first category of people who were disappointed. But life goes on, it is what it is, and it's Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, and I'll still be reading Onyx Storm, so if you ever are considering reading it, I would totally say for you to go for it. Just be aware that the books are like really thick and really long. That's basically it. Then I read Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli, and it's called, I think in the UK it's called The Crimson Moth. I read that book. I loved that book. I was amazed at how good it was. Like the writing and the banter and the both voices from like the male main character and the female main character was like really different. I could totally see who was speaking. It was not like the same kind of dialogue but in different like genre forms. So like, oh, he's a man but he speaks like her. The only difference is that he's a man, and they don't. They have so many distinct voices, which I absolutely loved, and it's so good. So this one follows basically, she's a witch and he's a witch hunter, and he doesn't know that she's a witch because basically being a witch gets you hunted. She turned her grandma, I think it was her grandma, she turned her grandma in to the royal guard, to the witch hunters, for being a witch, because her grandma was like, oh, they are starting to suspect that I'm a witch. They're gonna think that you're a witch. If you turn me in, they're gonna think you're not a witch and that you're in favor of the regime. So please turn me in. Do me a favor as your grandmother and like turn me in so that I can, you know, die and you can live a good life, like the life that you deserve. I think that was really sweet, but of course she's scarred by that for like life. And basically, she has always had a little bit of a crush on him. He has always been like, I don't want a romantic relationship. And she's best friends with his little brother. And so what she does, it's basically like she finds out where they are keeping the witches. And like before they slaughter them. And so she tries to save them. That's basically what she does. So she's known as the Crimson Moth because of that. I loved the book. The book, basically, the plot thickens when she is trying to save a witch, and so she starts courting him. Instead of him courting her, she starts going after him to see if she can get some info on where they're keeping a witch. They used to be her grandmother's best friend, and she wants to save her. So, and he starts getting the idea that she might be a witch, but he's like, is she a witch? Is she not a witch? She can't be, she is. She's my enemy, she's not. So it's kind of like that whole, she might be, but I want to deny it until I die because I'm falling in love with her, you know? It's really good. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I recommend it to everyone, and I am so freaking excited about the next book coming out. I don't know when it's coming out, but I think it's next year, and I am so freaking excited about that. Then my book club book with my best friend was Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was really good. I gave it 4 stars. More on the 3.5, 4. Because Lauren Asher books lately feel kind of, have the same vibe. They all feel the same. So it was basically, to me, it was another billionaire romance in the same place where the fine print and not the fine print, the same place where the final offer takes place. But it's about this girl who's coming back into her town called Dahlia, and his name is Julian. Please tell me. Julian, exactly. So his name is Julian. He is basically her rival since they were kids. Their families are like besties, so they have been forced ever since they were kids to, you know each other and be in the presence of each other, which has always led to fights and stuff like that. And you know that they have almost been together in college, but then something happened and they didn't. And now it's many years later. She was involved during this time. She was engaged to his best friend, his college best friend, because he suddenly left, and she was left to pack his stuff and ship them back home with his best friend. So they started hanging out, and then they eventually started dating, and they were almost getting married. And then suddenly the engagement is off, and she is back, and she is single, and he sees in how much distressed she actually is. And so he's like, okay, you're gonna work with me on a project. We're gonna renovate a house, and you're gonna feel better. So yeah, the book was really good. It's basically them getting to know each other again after all these years and warming up to each other after so long, and while working on a project together. So it's kind of like forced proximity, like I want you but I can't have you kind of thing. I absolutely liked it. I really liked it. It didn't amaze me because it had the feeling as the other Lauren Asher books, and I was like, okay, it's more of the same, but it's good. So I gave that 4 stars. Last but not least, the last book that I read was a DNF, and that was Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. Credit given, I did not read the series that came before, The Heart of Betrayal and whatever, The Kiss of Deception. Yeah, that series, I did not read that. But I was super excited to read Dance of Thieves. Don't get me wrong, I really was dying to read Dance of Thieves. Everyone was raving about it. I had it on my TBR for like years, and it disappointed me. I started reading it, I was super confused. I had no idea what was going on. It's not an easy read. And I was going for it with the mentality of like, okay, this is supposed to have a lot of romance, this is supposed to be a romantasy, I'm gonna love this. And suddenly, you're thrown into this world you know nothing about. And she doesn't even try to explain anything. And you're thrown into all these characters. Suddenly you meet them all, and they all have these personality traits and this magic system that doesn't really make sense. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back from this, because like if they're supposed to be different series, like the Kiss of Deception series and the Dance of Thieves series, if they're supposed to be different series, then you're supposed to be able to write a book where you explain the magic system to people that decide not to read the first series that you wrote. Like if they're two separate things, you can read one without the other. And that's not really what happened here. I feel like she was just like, yeah, if you haven't read this, you either stuck it out or you're screwed. I decided not to stick it out, but so I was screwed. That's why I DNF'd it. But yeah, if you think about reading it, if you enjoy it, let me know. I still am not gonna read it again. I'm not gonna read the Kiss of Deception series. There are way too many books out there and way too little time. So yeah, that's it. That's me. And I gave this 2 stars. Hey guys, it's me live from the car, and I totally forgot to end this video. So these were all the books that I read in October and November. I am almost reaching my reading goal. I'm at 47 books out of 50 on Goodreads, so I'm almost there. I have really short, quick reads this month, so I'm really excited. So yeah, stick around, and I have so many new videos for the end of the year. So exciting. So yeah, I'll see you later. Bye!